Well, look, thank you, everybody. What a special gift it is to be able to experience this with you. What we have in mind right now is to have some interaction with you. So what we want to do, what we have in mind to do, is introduce the members of the team, give them a chance to just express themselves, what it was like for them to put this film together. And then we would love to have an opportunity, at least a short time, for you to be able to ask questions. And then we would like to end with a special word from Hannah. So, Hannah, no doubt we've already heard from you. So and we'll hear more, But the first two people I want to introduce to you is David and Kathy Peters. These are the filmmakers. These are the ones who have put this film together. And I don't know if you would like to join me once again in saying to them, David and Kathy, you have created a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. So we'd love to hear from both of you. What was it like for you to do this?
I suppose the best word is honor. It was an honor for us. Having grown up and learned about the Holocaust as a child and in my years in junior and high school, I never imagined that I would meet a real Holocaust survivor and to be able to sit and interview Hannah, sit eyeball to eyeball with her and have her tell her story and to watch. I mean, she's an incredible storyteller, is she not? That's always such a privilege, and I've had opportunities to sit and interview some pretty amazing people around the world, but just the joy. We spent about 5 days having her tell her story to us. And so for us as filmmakers, the fact that we get to share stories of hope and stories of laughter and redemption and healing, it's an honor for us. And this film is the pinnacle of that honor for us as storytellers.
Wow, honey, that was good. A friend of mine said that it's a miracle that a film ever gets made, and then it's a miracle that it ever gets distributed. And for us, there was a third miracle, and that is that how we ever got connected with the film. And we first met George and Hannah in 2017 in Wittenberg, Germany. We were doing a documentary on the 500th anniversary of the Reformation, and they were part of a reconciliation gathering there in Wittenberg. We met them briefly. We were going to interview them, but our friend Thomas, who introduced us to them, told us about Hannah's story, and that she had followed the footsteps of her parents ultimately to the place of Chelmno, and went on the train rides, and he told me all about this trip that had happened years earlier, and I was frustrated because I was thinking, oh, I should have been there to document it, and never knowing that 6 years later we would get a phone call again through Thomas to get connected with the team and to be able to have the privilege of telling this story and putting it together. And it was just really fun to be here tonight, and you know, as a filmmaker, and we kind of wear a lot of hats, that I did a lot of the principal photography as well as the editing and directing. And so to be here with a group of people and feel some of the things that I felt when we were shooting them, and just hoping that they would translate to the screen. And I feel like they did with the help of Janie's music, just brought things to life. And not to mention the incredible art that Laura put together, that we had no idea how we were going to capture it cinematically. It's one thing for her to create textile art, but how are we going to film it in such a way that would be interesting? And we struggled, we tested, and Hannah would look at it and she said, well, it's good, but it's just not quite there. And she said, you know, these were like dreams. I don't know if I totally exactly remember them, but if you can make it more dream-like. And I think it was Kathy or anyway, we got a fan and we had the material moving, and then we showed that to Hannah, and she said, "That's it. That works." That's what I was sensing and feeling.
Thank you, you two. You know, there's a lot I could say about them, but I am so bowled over in looking back on everything at their patience. You know, you create something and then you have it critiqued, and you create it again and you have it critiqued. And their patience in reworking things has been just amazing. Kathy, I mentioned Hannah's book. I think in preparation to make the film, you read that book. Give us just a thought or two about Hannah's book. What was your experience in reading it?
So as the writer of this documentary, obviously if you're going to make a documentary about someone's life and they've written a book, that's a good place to start. So, you know, when you read a book and you watch the movie, there's this kind of battle that goes, oh, do I like the book more? Do I like the movie more? You know, I would absolutely recommend to you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Bad
Always documenting. So anyway, we were down in Mexico. I won't tell you why. We were down there, and I committed while we were in Mexico that I was going to finish reading Hannah's book so that I could get started writing the documentary. And I'm sitting on the beach while David was doing something else, and I had about 3 chapters to go, and I was just like overwhelmed with emotion as I was reading the book. And David comes down and joins me at the beach, and I said, let me just read this one little section to you. And I started to read, and literally I started 3 chapters from the end of the book, and I couldn't stop. I kept reading, and literally at points I was sobbing as I was reading, especially the points in the book where Hannah would take scripture and weave it into the narrative of her story. It was so emotional, and literally I'm like dripping tears and snot, and I had no tissues, and I had a napkin from my lunch, and luckily I had that, otherwise I had to use my beach towel. But I remember thinking, there's no way that a film could ever capture what's in the book. So if you've seen the movie, you still have to read the book, because David said earlier, we started with like 3 hours of material when we first put it together, and they said, well, there's no way it can be 3 hours long. So there are things that we weren't able to tell in the documentary that are in the book. So you have to read it. It's such an incredible read. Someone once asked me, would this be a good Christmas present? Hint, hint. It is.
Thank you, Kathy. Next, we have Janie and Micah Daly. I think they brought their own cheering squad with them. Janie and Micah have been just incredibly helpful in every aspect of putting all this together, working with David and Kathy. Janie composed the original music. So the musical score to this film is original music, and here's the composer. And Micah is our sound engineer. He's become our producer. He has helped in absolutely every aspect of the film. So Janie, over to you and Micah. Let's just hear something from you. What has it been like for you to be a part of this project?
It's hard to really put it all into a few words. It's 4 years for us. And so to be here with all of you, so many of you, friends and family, we're just incredibly grateful. So thank you all for coming. Yes. As far as Hannah and this film goes, you know, the thing that I often come back to is Hannah's ability to invite you into her story and to empower you, the listener, to feel as if it's your story. And so for me, pretty quickly, I started to all of a sudden feel, well, if Hannah can do it, of all people, then maybe I can do that, And so, not even before the project is done, I'm starting to dig into my past and to look into my history and to consider it more deeply and more intentionally. And so I'm just incredibly grateful for that opportunity and for Hannah's friendship, most of all. So, yes.
I just want to add, Micah and Janie live in Phoenix. David and Kathy live in Pennsylvania. So our connection is on Zoom mainly. But I just, this has been a hard slog, some of it. And I have to say that Micah and Janie, they're so much younger than us. But they have incredible sensitivity and support, and I think so many times they have provided that emotional encouragement. And I just want to add that the poster Micah designed, so I think that's an incredible thing.
Oh, I guess it's my turn. It's hard to put into words the last 4 years, but 5 years of friendship with George and Hannah. And I've never scored a film before, so this was my first time doing something at this big of a project. And all that to say, it took a lot of risk on their part to trust me with a project so special and important. And David and Kathy as well, coming in with a composer already a part of the project, took a lot of trust. And I don't think I would have been able to do it if I didn't know Hannah the way that we know Hannah. And not a lot of composers get to be a part of the filming process. And the fact that we got to go to Germany with Hannah and be in Gmünd, her hometown, and meet Verena and be in the cemetery while they're hugging and embracing, knowing all that they've journeyed through, really shaped how the music came out. And I'm just so thankful that they trusted me to take a risk. And I don't know how to articulate how special the last 4 years have been, and to sit here in this room with all of you, many of our community, just that it was a lot to get to this point and to sit here with Hannah and George at our side. We didn't know how long this movie would take to make, and so I feel very grateful. And I did carry Hannah's book everywhere, so I do encourage you to buy the book, because Hannah asks these questions, and she did it throughout filming, where she gave you courage to ask these questions about our own kind of lives and our own history. And the way that she sees things and asks questions, I want to live like that, and makes you feel like your story is just as important. And even Bill and Amy, the historians, who are the people you would go to for all the answers. They're PhD and incredible people, and they live in such a way with questions and curiosity and wonder. And so just the whole process of that helped me to have courage to be curious with the music. And I brought this notebook and wrote melodies along the journey that really helped in making the music. And I just feel very honored that I got to do it for you, Hannah. I love you guys.
Thank you, Jane. When we were filming in Gmünd one morning, Janie and I found a German cafe, and we got some beautiful German sweets. And there's a picture of us standing there having our sweets. When Hannah saw that picture, she said to me, "There's a guilty look all over your face." Jeffrey Travis is next. Jeffrey, it's one thing to make a film. It's another thing to distribute a film. And Jeffrey was brought to us with an incredible experience in films, many, many years, not only in creating films, but also in distributing films. And so he has become our consulting producer and distributor, and is having a huge influence in guiding us. How do we take this film that has been created under the leadership of David and Kathy? How do we take this film and distribute it worldwide? How do we do that? And Jeffrey is playing a key role in giving leadership to the development of that strategy. So Jeffrey, we'd love to hear something from you. What is it like working with all of us?
It's pretty wonderful, actually. I've been worked in the film industry for quite a long time, over 25 years. I'm a filmmaker. I watch a lot of movies, and I got introduced to George and Hannah and the rest of the team here I guess over a year ago through this friend you keep hearing about, Thomas. And when I got the chance to see this documentary, it just really impacted me. I found myself crying a lot, hearing Hannah's story of forgiveness, reconciliation. And my first thought was like, even though this is a documentary about a journey of a Holocaust survivor, it's incredibly relevant today. It feels like we're in such a time of polarization and making other people the person to blame or the person to hate, or a group or a political party. And so I just felt this is a movie that needs to be seen. So it's one thing to make this incredible film. It's a whole nother level of effort to get it distributed. And so my really one only goal here is to get this movie seen by as many people as possible, because I think it deserves to be seen. So at the end of this Q&A, I'll share a little more about how you can help with that and how you can own or rent the movie starting tonight.
Fantastic. So last but not least is Manessa Grady. Manessa is our accountant and bookkeeper. Now you may say, what's that got to do with making and producing a film? And the answer is a lot. It's a lot. So Manessa plays a really key role among us, and we have discovered and are discovering that her role is actually broader than that as well. So Manessa, it's lovely to have you as part of the team. What's it been like so far?
Well, you're so relational that no accountant is on the stage ever. So even that speaks to like who you are. As we were setting chairs out, I was like, Micah, I'm on the stage again. Like, that's not normal. He's like, it's George, and that's the truth. And honestly, it's such a privilege. And in this, you guys have special people and circumstances literally just like surround you. This is the second time I've got to be here in your orb, if you will. And it's real, and it's a gift, and it's a blessing. And Thomas Cogdale also introduced me to them. So that name, so thank you. Thank you. And I want to share this. So we had this idea because they are so relational, and it does, just like you were sharing, like it causes you to think about things in your own heart and your own life and your own past. And we created a little a space for you to share. So at the book signing and book selling tables, on either ends, there are reflections. And if you have a thought and you would like to write it, you can share it. There's boxes that you can put them in, fold it up. And if you don't want to share it and you just want to write it and you want to keep it, that's fine too. But we just really felt that we wanted to make sure that we gave the space because it deserves that. So thank you.
Well, look, everybody, we've got time for one question from each level. We got 3 levels here, haven't we? And on each level, there is a microphone. So held by a person. So who is holding, here's the microphone here. Can you folks up there on the first balcony and the second balcony see the person with the microphone? If so, if you could just raise your hand and let the person with the mic come to you so that you can ask your question to the team. Who would like to be the first question?
Right there.
Here we go, right here.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to the team for sharing this. This was really meaningful. As a Jewish person myself, I often find on my social media, on my phone, every time I open it, it can be very polarizing. One week it's one way, one week it's the next, and I see hate and bigotry from all sides of the political, the religious spectrum. How do you, in your journey with reconciliation, do you have any advice for young Jewish people, young Muslim people, young Christian people who feel that you need to fit a certain box and you need to be on a certain side in order to build bridges rather than gaps and divides? Thank you.
Hannah.
Give her the easy one.
I really thank you for asking the question. I have to tell you, living today is quite painful. And I think my advice is, in some ways, Georg Toporowski gave us the words in the film. I think it's very important that we respect the other. We respect people who are agreeing with us, but also those who disagree. And it's not easy when there is hatred expressed. I just tell you a little story. As you understand, I'm a bit active on Instagram. So, I actually got a message from the German government, believe it or not. It's because I invited Julia Glockner, who's the speaker there, to an event. Somehow they got my name. I didn't hear it from her, but they knew me. And they were remembering the anniversary of Kristallnacht and the laying of Stolperstein, which is very dear to me. So I wrote back and thanked them for what they were doing, you know. And I could hardly believe the virulent hatred that was appearing on their feed. I mean, it was an eye-opener for me that this event that was kind of expressing sorrow for the past should be so much attacked. So I think what I would say to you is to speak up, but not in an aggressive tone, but to speak for truth. And, you know, we have to have a moral undergirding. And I think you probably got my moral undergirding from the film, which we all share, actually. But be encouraged and speak up, and thank you for asking it, because it just encourages me to know that you're engaging with this issue.
Okay, we'll take one more question down here. Does anybody else? Here's a question. What happened to that mic? I threw a curveball there.
This question is directed to both of you. In the film, you kind of talked a little bit about your relationship as a husband and wife. This is for the husband. How did you, when you were entering into this relationship, the best way I can ask this is, how did you embrace the story that necessarily wasn't your own? And what was your thought process as you began to get to know Hannah's story and realize that not her story was now going to be your story intertwined?
You know, I have never had the feeling that there were two stories here. I have always felt it was one story. And that might sound weird. I'm not Jewish, I'm Gentile. When Hannah was going through all the pain that she's going through as a young child, I was growing up in Richmond, Virginia, being a spoiled brat. So in one way, we had very different backgrounds, but at the same time, we came together and our lives merged together. And I've never had the feeling that, oh, gee, this is Hannah's story, and here I am somehow, sidetracked by it. Quite the opposite. I am quite aware that this would not have been possible without me. Was that an arrogant statement that I just made? And yet when Hannah's at the center of attention, and I'm thrilled by that. She should be the center of attention. So thank you for your question, but we often say, the two of us are joined at the hip. And so that's the best answer I've got. Look, everybody, I got the capacity to keep going like this for hours, but we've got to begin to bring it to a close. I would like Jeffrey, we've already indicated this, to have the next to the last word. Let him do that now. And then I would like to give Hannah the last word. And then we are going to go out and be available to all of you in the meet and greet afterwards. So Jeffrey, are you ready to give us the next to the last word? We're ready for it.
Sounds good. So, this movie is a real labor of love. I think it's been 4 years in the making. Of course, all of Hannah's life in the making. And it doesn't have a Hollywood budget or a Hollywood distributor at this point. And so one of the things that we, as a filmmaking team, are doing now is starting to do our own self-distribution within North America. And so if you would like to support this film, or have to know about it, there's kind of two ways you can do it. One is you can buy the movie, and we would love you to buy it or rent it, but preferably buy it. And this it's on a platform called Vimeo. If you want to grab your phone and scan this QR code, it'll take you right to it. You can bookmark it or get it right off your phone. That Vimeo app can also work on Roku and Apple TVs and most TVs, your devices, not just a laptop. But the second thing you can do is the distribution in this kind of scenario really depends so much on a community of people letting everybody they know about it. So we would love for you to post on your social media, email people in your network, tell them if this movie meant something to you about it, encourage them to rent it or buy it because it's available starting today. So this is, you guys are the first people to have the first public screening in North America, and it won't be the last. Oh, yeah, thank you, Micah. Yeah, so Micah's reminding me that there's some little cards you'll see outside. They're about the size of a business card. Those have the same QR code and a web link on how to buy or stream the movie. You can also just go to the website, iwas814.com, and you'll see it there as well. And then just for a bonus, if you want to help us even further, you can also review the movie on Rotten Tomatoes. So we just are listed there. It's just starting, but if you're familiar with that platform, it's a website where critics and people who watch movies can write a review. That helps the movie get more visible, helps it appear in more internet searches. So if you go to Rotten Tomatoes and review a movie, we'd also appreciate it. And with that, I'll turn it over to Hannah.
I got a mic for Hannah. Hannah, are you ready to stand up? Janie, can you and Micah just come and help us get up so we don't fall? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See, that's the value of having young people around. I think maybe I got it, but what we would like to do is close with Hannah speaking a blessing over you. In the Hebrew Torah, there is the account of God speaking to Moses. And God said to Moses, here is the blessing that I want you to give Aaron and his sons for them to use to bless my people. You know, Aaron and his sons were the priests. And so this blessing that God gave to Aaron and his sons to bless the people has become known as the Aaronic blessing. Now, Hannah would love to bless us with that, but she needs our permission because she doesn't want to kind of inflict this on anybody who doesn't want it. You have to be available to receive it. So if you would like to receive a blessing from Hannah, please stand. And then Hannah, if you would give to us the Aaronic blessing. Do you want to hold it or want me to hold it?
You hold it.
Okay.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Be blessed.